Hey everyone, welcome, welcome. So happy to see so many people here. Thank you for taking the time on this beautiful Tuesday to learn something new. And maybe you already know about this, but this is something that came into my life as actually completely new 4.5 years ago. I was already living a very healthy lifestyle. I was doing yoga, I was meditating, I was eating plant-based, and I thought I was I thought I was doing all the things I could possibly do for my health. But there was a big missing piece that I didn't know about. And that's what we're here to share with you guys. So a lot of you have heard of gut health. I mean, I think that's just pretty widespread now. We hear the term gut health all the time, but the actual gut healing kind of eludes us because so many of us are suffering with so many different kinds of symptoms that are related to the gut, and we can't get to the bottom of because okay, well, this is why, because we are being inundated with toxic herbicides and pesticides in our food supply. And that's only a part of it. I mean, there's so many other things that destroy our gut, like the medications, antibiotics, so many different, just the lack of the healthy soil and GMO and, different factors. But a huge one is glyphosate that I did not know about. This was 4.5 years ago when Taz shared this with me. I was suffering with a lot of gut issues, even though I was doing everything right. So I had eczema, I had IBS, and I had chronic depression, anxiety, mental health issues that since I was pretty young age, I was put on ADD medications. And for lack of focus, I couldn't focus. And what happened was one thing leads to another, because my ADD medications led me to having sleep problems, anxiety, and then I was put on more medications, and I was put on Accutane for my skin, and all of these things don't come with very much warning about the side effects. And so, I was just listening to the doctors, trusting the doctors. And that's where it took me to, in my 30s, being on 5 different medications. And when I had kids, I really knew I needed to heal. So that was something that I was really focused on. And as I said, I had been trying everything. I went plant-based, which did improve my health quite a bit, but I was still suffering with a lot of these things. And when Taz, actually, who's on this call, she shared with me, about glyphosate, and she shared her story with me, which was so inspiring. And I just had to try it. I knew there was an energy to this. My body was saying, this is the missing, like, I don't know what it is. I just need to try it. I need to try it for myself. I'm a big believer that we need to experience things in our own body. And within a few short days, actually, even right away, that green juice, it blew my mind. There was an energy to that green juice that actually my cells were like lit up. And I had been doing other green juice powders, and there was nothing that compared to that kind of level. I was also juicing at the time. So I was already into the juicing, and I never thought, Sarah's going to explain more about that, because I was like, I never thought a powder could have, living enzymes. And so I really felt this huge energy boost, and every day felt better and better. And Jared and I went to a plant-based community. We were very focused on, building plant-based communities and eco communities around the world. And an opportunity came to go to Belize. And because we actually had these superfoods, and I had already been sharing my results because they were astronomical. Like Jared actually as well had a transformation. If you want to just share quickly.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So I was very reluctant to start. I didn't really think that this could work. My whole life I had asthma, acute asthma and allergies. So I was taking Ventolin and Pulmicort and steroid topically, and also antihistamines just over the counter. I was also carrying around extra body weight that I just normalized for years, like most men do. And as soon as I introduced the gut health component and flooding my cells with the Power Shake daily, I noticed changes. I started breathing easier, and I was just not taking Advil for inflammation and pain and things like that. No more antihistamines. So I started breathing a lot better. I could exercise finally, run around with the kids. And just adopting this new daily routine, this daily ritual of just high quality nutrition. And then I lost 25 pounds, kept it off, and we've just been
No more
sharing
asthma
that.
or allergies. He's running every day. And so we started, people at work were actually noticing it, like there was people who we started to share it, and people were so blown away by their results. So this started to actually become a little business for us that we didn't even expect, just because our results were just so really noticeable, and we couldn't stop sharing about it, because if you find something that works, that's what we do, right? And so we went to Belize together. We had this nice little residual income happening just by sharing about these products, helping other people. And that afforded us the ability to go for a few months to Belize, and we had the honor and of sharing that community space with Sarah Brandow, who's a plant-based nutritionist. And I'm going to introduce her because she was actually, someone who I really respected. I looked up to her, and I was like, she is an expert on everything. And I shared it with her only I was curious her opinion on it. And so I'd love if Sarah, you could just share, what your opinion was on this.
Yeah, sure. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Sarah. I've been a registered nutritionist since 2014 when I finished my master's, and I've been plant-based a little bit longer than that. I got into this profession because I wanted to help people heal the way that I did. I wanted to help people actually feel better. And I came to learn over the years that no matter how hard I try and how much passion I have for it, not everyone's going to want to change their diet. Not everybody is going to want to go through all the steps I've outlined for them and really take those head on. It's a lot of work for some people, and there's a lot of emotions behind food. And when I found this system, I realized that this was the way that I was going to be able to help a lot more people than I ever could, working with people one-to-one. And also it allows me to help people through nutrition by addition. So instead of always telling them what they need to take away and then add in, the juicing, we know how hard it is to get people to juice regularly. I found a system that was raw, solar dehydrated, and I'll explain why that's super important. And people got amazing results that weren't trying to change and didn't want to change. And I was able to help them at least add in the nutritional equivalent of a couple super green salads per day, like twice. Each Power Shake is the nutritional equivalent of about 6 microgreen salads, and they were having 2 of those a day. So I had someone quit smoking who wasn't even trying to quit smoking. She said all of a sudden she felt like so disgusting after she smoked because she was contrasting it with the way she was feeling before. So I currently lead the nutrition department for a stem cell company. I speak with all their patients. We work with a lot of professional athletes, a lot of fighters, and it's my job to help them get better really, really quickly. So I actually do research for the clinic as well. I recently did a kind of long webinar on supplement science, how to choose the best products for you. I'm going to give a very abbreviated couple-minute version of that now so that you can understand how, as a professional, I choose which products to recommend to people and how you can make really, really good savvy consumer choices as well. Okay, so I can't see any comments while I'm screen sharing, but I can answer any questions at the end. So everyone can see my screen. We good? All right, perfect. So the brief overview of supplement science is understanding what goes into the supplement industry and how we choose really well. So first and foremost, we have a problem all across the world where fruit and vegetables have become significantly less nutritious. The main culprit is the soil. So most soil now is completely sterile. And if the soil doesn't have nutrients, it's not able to transfer those nutrients to the plants. So in an ideal world, we would have our own compost, backyard gardens. We'd be using biodynamic and permaculture methods to create nutrient-rich soil. Instead, companies are just creating products made from things that are farmed as quickly as possible in whatever will yield them the greatest profits. And that has a terrible effect on our gut. Also, transporting that stuff. About 30% of nutrients are lost 3 days after harvest. So if the food is raw and solar dehydrated very, very, very quickly, you don't actually have to worry about that. So sometimes, believe it or not, powders can actually have more nutrients than fresh food, which is something that's really, really hard for people to wrap their head around, because it isn't true of most powders. Most powders are made with the more sterile soils, and they are processed and dehydrated at really high temperatures. They've basically been cooked. That's why you don't feel that good after you drink them. And that's why there's such a very, very radical difference when you have things that are raw and solar dehydrated. About 27% drops, 21% drops in vitamin A, 30% in vitamin C. This is what's happening. You guys can read this, so I won't read you the slides, but this is what's happening to our food system. We are seeing a massive, massive drop in nutrients. You have to consume so much more food and so many more calories, which we know isn't good for longevity, in order to get the same nutrients. There's a reason why people have a power shake sometimes for breakfast and they feel full, even though there aren't that many calories in it, because they're finally getting a lot of nutrient density, which is really important. These are the statistics of why we have a health crisis going on right now. And most of this is from the food cycle. Even if you're eating healthy, I see so many people on plant-based diets who are really struggling to get all their nutrients because the quality of food that we have access to is not very good. It's nowhere near where it should be. And now we have monoculture. Pea protein, for example, is a vegan staple now, and we've moved away from soy as being more popular for human use, and now pea is the in thing. But monoculture is done where you create a giant, vast farm of only one crop, completely different than nature. It's more prone to pesticides, to bugs, to fungus, all kinds of different things that take away from the quality and cause them to use more chemicals. And Purium is actually one of the only companies on the planet whose pea proteins test negative for glyphosate. So even the organic pea powders still had glyphosate residue, which is one of the most toxic herbicides on the planet. It destroys about 55% of the beneficial types of bacteria that live in our microbiome, which are our immune system. Also, most supplements, many supplements, I should say, aren't necessarily what they say. So a lot of them are contaminated with other things. This was an example of even natural products that didn't have what they said. Then we have the issue of synthetic vitamins, which are isolated. So the human body does best with things that have the enzymes and cofactors available, which is found in nature. As soon as we start isolating something, we now have a risk of a counter effect where we're kind of like playing with nature a little bit. We're taking something that isn't found naturally. We also have to look out for metals. Metals are often contaminants that we find in supplements, in the food cycle. Not all metals are harmful, right? They exist naturally everywhere. So any organic product is going to have some metals, but there's a reason why there's safe upper limits that have been classified, and you can review those and see where your products lie in order to make sure. But we need some of them, like for example, iron, zinc, and selenium. If you are deficient in any of those minerals, those metal-like minerals, what's going to happen when you take in some mercury, some aluminum? They look so similar to your cell that your starved and deficient cell will let the heavy metals come in, and now all of a sudden your cell is not functioning properly. But it did that out of desperation because you don't have adequate stores of iron, zinc, selenium, to name a few. If you have enough magnesium, then you are actually less likely to have heavy metal damage. And so the best way to protect your body from heavy metals is to simply get all of your micronutrients in. It's actually that simple. 90% of vitamins on typical store shelves contain one or more of these ingredients, which are not good for our microbiome. They are not good for our digestion. Some of them are not good for the brain. Some of them are just straight up toxic. The way to get around this is to only buy from companies that have a certificate of analysis. So if you're trying to determine, is this a good company for me? People message me all the time saying, hey, I know you really advocate for Purium. What do you think of this company? And my answer is always get the COA. If the company won't produce a certificate of analysis telling you what's in their product, do not buy from them. A supplement company, a superfood company, has one job. Their only job is to sell you what they tell you that they're selling you. That's it. And if they can't provide proof that they're actually doing that, run. So always, always, always ask for a COA, and don't ask me to review any product that doesn't have a COA, because it's going to be a no. I'm not going to believe them. So this is where you can find the COA for all the Purium products online. You can check out what's in them. You can check out the soil content, the zero glyphosate content. So I'm a big fan of that. And everything is food-based. You have to worry about interactions when you're eating things that are not food-based. So for example, if you take isolated zinc, I take whole food zinc, but the isolated synthetic form created in a lab, that can affect your copper balance. Now you might affect your iron. Caffeine as well. Some of these other green companies, if you read the ingredients, they put green tea in there, or they put green coffee bean in with the greens. And that's so that you get the same feeling you get from a quality product, but from caffeine instead. So you're like, wow, I'm high on my greens. No, you're high on caffeine. They're cheating, and they're robbing you of some iron as well. So that's another thing to look out for when you're looking at your ingredient list. That's always a no for me if there's any caffeine in the greens. Vitamin C can affect your B12 absorption only when it's synthetic ascorbic acid. Real vitamin C, of course, is not going to do that. So these are all things that you need to be really, really careful of with interactions. They also have interactions with our gut microbiome, because 70 to 80% of our immune system is in the gut. So the more diverse your diet is, the more fresh, raw foods from nature, the more you're going to thrive, the more your gut bacteria will thrive, and the better you will feel overall. The quality of your life is the quality of your gut. This is the list to tell how good your gut is, and therefore how good your quality of life is. If you're mostly on the left, not a great sign. If you're occasionally on the left, mostly on the right, then you're doing pretty well. You've probably been on Biomedic for a while. This is why Biomedic is super important. Roundup, which is sprayed all throughout our food system. People are spraying it on their lawns and on their grass. So sad. It's killing pets. And as you can see here, it's killing humans as well. So the solution to remove this from our bodies is extremely, extremely important. It's one of the most important things we could be doing on the planet right now, is getting glyphosate out of our bodies. Biomedic and Purium was so alluring to me because this is the only product with clinical evidence that shows it actually will remove glyphosate from the body. And what's really interesting is that as glyphosate detoxes, C-reactive protein, CRP, which is your inflammatory marker in your bloodstream, I look for that to see how inflamed somebody is when they're going to be a patient. Role of pesticides and toxins in the gut and systemic inflammation. It's very, very, very mind-blowing stuff when you realize how much is actually stemming from the gut. And someone could be on the perfect diet, and if they are not absorbing it, it doesn't matter. There's absolutely no point. It's all about what you're actually going to absorb. And then the final supplement that I want to warn people about, melatonin. This one became really, really, really popular, especially the last few years. People weren't sleeping well. They were under a lot of stress. People don't realize that melatonin is also a hormone. Giving it to children who haven't gone through puberty yet can affect their hormones. As an adult as well, the research is not conclusive that this is very, very safe. And so we want to be really, really careful, and we want to encourage natural ways of building melatonin. So these are all things that can happen if you try to take a synthetic isolated version. And also most melatonin supplements sold online weren't even within 10% of the listed dose. So you really oftentimes do not know what you're buying and what you're risking. I'm a huge fan of tart cherry juice concentrate because it's completely natural, obviously. And it's one of the foods proven to actually, in clinical trials, raise your own melatonin levels so that you can sleep better. And the more you take it, the better off you are, which is the opposite of a synthetic isolated version of melatonin. The more you take it, the worse off you are. So these are also really good comparisons. Vitamin C is ascorbic acid. That's the type that now might be able to affect your B12 in a way that is not optimal for you. You want to stay away from ascorbic acid, which, see that super orange on the package? Wow, it looks like orange. There's no oranges in there. That is an artificial flavor. This is made from GMO corn from China, 90% of the time with ascorbic acid. So you don't want to get tricked by what's on the box and the pretty colors. You just want to look at what is on the label. What does it really say? Do you recognize the ingredients? Is it real food? So that is a summary of how I, as a nutritionist, choose supplements, how I gravitated towards these ones, and how I educate people on how to make the best choices for them as well. So hope that was helpful.
That was amazing. I hope some people took some screenshots of those amazing slides. And we're gonna have the recording for all of you as well. But that was so valuable. That was so much information. And yeah, you know, about the coffee and absorption, it's actually how I quit coffee. Taz, when she shared this with me, said the same thing. She said, she said, first have your green juice in the morning and then wait an hour or two and have your coffee. And actually got me off of coffee for good, because after my green juice and my aminos, I stopped needing the coffee. So yeah. That's amazing information. Thank you, Sarah. So I want to introduce another friend of ours, Alice, who I was also, she was as well affiliated with the plant-based community building. And when I saw Alice online, she was living in the UK, I was blown away by her account. She had such a powerful presence, and she was so beautiful. And I was like, wow, she's doing so much good in the world. I really felt her heart. And I said to myself, you know, and I thought on surface, she was living like a dream life. I saw her in Bali and and, you know, and I just thought this girl is going to be able to change a lot of lives if she gets this in her hands. And so, you know, Sarah and I connected with Alice, and I'd love Alice to share what this did for her. And yeah, please go ahead, Alice.
Thank you, everyone. And Sarah, that was amazing. This is one of the reasons I joined. I was so inspired because Alison and Sarah spoke to me and they were like, listen, we found something. And I was all ears at this point, because I'll take it back. I'm so excited to speak, because when Alison, Jared, and Sarah found me online, we'd met through Belize, I was living this like quote unquote dream life. I was an influencer and I had the dream husband and I was living the life and I was all around the world and I was a model and blah, blah. I was so unhappy. I was so unhealthy, and it was all fake. And I was looking for a way that I could make an impact, because although I was living, you know, I'm a master manifester, I can kind of build whatever I want in my life, but I was building something that was completely like uninspiring to me, and it didn't feel real. And my whole purpose here, that's why we met in Belize, is to make the world a better place and to show people how they can get healthy and live a better life and build an empire in a real and authentic way. So when they found me, I was actually going through a divorce. I was suffering so badly with glyphosate poisoning. At the time, I had leaky gut. I was extremely mentally unstable as well. And it was a really difficult time. And I turned my back on everything. I was like, I don't want to be a model. I don't want to be an influencer. What even is that if I can't even influence people to be healthy or influence myself to make good decisions? That's terrifying. Don't follow random influencers on the internet. I wasn't in a mental space that was good enough to do that. And I was being really honest with myself. So the first thing I did, which is what we want to speak to you about, is the ultimate lifestyle transformation. These amazing people told me about a way that I could get my health back, get my sanity back. And I was really I was like, yes, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. I need a fresh start. I need inspiration. So I just started flooding my body with this food. And after so long of, you know, being told by doctors, I'd have to live with gut health issues my whole life. I'd have to, you know, just suffer or take medication for my depression. I was like, no, there has to be another way. And I kid you not, the first time that I introduced this food into my body 3 years ago, it was like everything changed. I felt like a completely different human. I felt like I could function. I felt happy. I felt motivated, because I realized that this was a tool that I could use to reach and impact a lot more people as well. Not just one-on-one. This is indirectly and directly impacting people just by talking about it. So, you know, I look back, I was looking back the other day at my pictures modeling, and I'm like, damn, that's a lot of airbrushing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't look the way I look so different now. It's a glow that is real and it's natural. But back in those days, you know, there was the smile and there was the glamour modeling, but under that was the sadness and the lost girl and the really bad health problem. I looked pregnant most of the time because my gut issues were so bad. Like, I couldn't even like suck it in. So hence all the airbrushing. But this is transformation season coming up, and we've all had a transformation in this company in one way or another. Mine was in every aspect, but first was just feeling like a human, feeling the live energy of this food in my body. I didn't think that food could do that. I didn't truly believe it until I felt it. And I know that anyone on the call who hasn't like eaten this food understands that, because you hear so much this, there, and the other. But Sarah so amazingly summarized why in the first place I was like, this is different. This is different. It's transparent. And the reason that we're all here putting everything we have on the line to invite you all to join us in this is because it changed our lives. It's made our lives easier. We travel all the time. We have this food on our planes. I'm in England now. I can still get it in Europe. Thank goodness, you know, so it makes everything easy for us. It makes transformation as a whole so easy to get your food delivered to your door, to just eat these delicious, amazing foods that are so affordable, so pure, so amazing every single day, and to have a community to help you through that. That's what we're here to talk about, the 30-day commitment to starting change in your life. Because 30 days is enough to start building a habit. After 30 days, you're like, well, I'm hooked. Why would I ever go back to the way that I was before? And then it goes on. We're doing 30, 60, we're doing 90 days of change this year, because why wouldn't we want to do the best for our body and become, we step into the shoes of the person that we really are here to be, and feel authentic and feel good and inspire people that way. So when we flood our body with the greens, with our cherry juice, healing our gut with the gut repair, having our super aminos to build lean muscle mass, to help our bone density, and to kill out parasites. And it's so much more than that. And that's why we're here, because I don't know where I would be. I don't know which direction I would have been pulled in if this didn't come to me at the exact moment, but this is the moment. There is only now. And we're saying, join us in January. Let's all start now in huge strides towards becoming the people that we deserve to be, because no one deserves to live suffering or living a fake life or unhappy or unhealthy or unsatisfied or poor or anything. We don't. This is 2022. It's nearly 2023. So please, everyone, do join us in making huge steps towards just a new life, because that's what it afforded me. And though I am back in the UK now, where this all began, I've been living in Mexico, Belize, America for the past 3 years doing this. So anything is possible when you align with this. And I'm just so grateful that this found me, and I've been able to impact, my life, and finally make a difference for good in the world, and, change my family's life and so many people. And same with these angels. So we are just so excited to invite you to do this. And I know Sarah outlined exactly why, but let's do this together, because there is no time like the present. And we're so blessed that you're all here with us today.
Yes, yes. So that's our call to action, that we want to encourage that we all do this together, because there is something really, really powerful when a big group of people start to transform and heal and take their power back. And this is what this is. This is the ultimate self-empowerment in a box. It comes right to your door. It takes the guesswork out. It takes the complication out. It is so easy. We wouldn't all be doing this if it wasn't. And the results are for everyone to experience. I want everyone to experience that for themselves, because we could tell you our stories, but until you see your own, because gut health affects all of us in different ways. And today is Tuesday. I love to say Transformation Tuesday, but we're going to the new year. This is the best gift you can buy yourself. For me, for all of us, I think all our regret is that we just didn't start it sooner. And there's no time like now to step into a new fresh year, releasing the junk, the toxins, things that are no longer serving our highest self, and to start to flood our body with organic, whole food, superfood, raw living nutrition daily. So please get back with whoever invited you to this call. They have a gift for you. They have over $100 gift off of this ultimate lifestyle transformation. There are a few different options. So, we have the basic package with the ultimate lifestyle transformation. Most of us do a lot more than that. We do, the immune, we do the zinc, as Sarah was talking about, the vitamin C, A, D, and E. We do we do protein, if you're an athlete, there's amazing the best quality of organic vegan protein, and tons of other superfoods that you can explore on the shop. So you all have 25% off. And I just encourage that if anyone has any questions, do you want to do any questions? Should we do any questions now? Or does anyone have any while we're here? I know we're a little bit over time, but we want to respect all of your time, but please get back with whoever invited you today, and they will be so happy to share more information with you. And we are all here as a community to support you in your healing, in all of your healing goals and journey ahead. So Thank you so much, Sarah and
Thank you.
Alice.
Thanks, Sarah.
And every single person for being here and for the chat. Beautiful energy here today. And thank you all so much. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you all for
Bless
sharing.
you. Thank you.
Have a great day.